in case I get any good tips like ice dispenser for a vehicle upgrade, I'm ready.
That is the best vehicle upgrade ever.
All right, let's kick this thing off with the music.
Kick it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Hardheaded.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one.
With me is always Matt Amos. To my right,
Sandbagger.
Chet Sears. And I am your wonderful host this evening, Troy 3-Shot Trussell. Today we start out with what is on your mind with Mr. Chet Sears.
Well, I've got a surprise for our audience with a special guest by the name of Chris Broughton. Chris, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well.
It's kind of funny that I'm calling you Chris because I don't know if I ever call you Chris.
Well, you can reveal nicknames or whatever.
His nickname is Beef, and
I saw that on your phone before the screen went black.
yeah.
Where's the beef?
He, in fact, my kids call him Uncle Beef. Like, I don't even know if they know your name. They know you by Broughton as well, but they call you Uncle Beef. So Broughton got. I was introduced to him by him. This is I lived on the 10th floor of Nielsen Dorm at
yes.
Louisiana Tech University, and
Nielsen 1030.
that's right. It was the ROTC floor. Just in case you're wondering, I was not in ROTC.
No.
Yeah, it was. So shut up.
You mean you come by that discipline all by yourself?
So anyway, I'm asleep, or I'm just laying in my bed. I think Broughton thinks it was in the evening, but door opens up, no knock, no nothing, just door opens up, and this shirtless dude just walks in and walks over to the little sink area in the dorm, and he just looked over at me, and he's like, "Hey, is this your brush?" And like held up a hairbrush, and I'm like, "No," and he's like, "That means it's JD's," and that JD was my roommate at the time, and I'm like, yeah. And so then he just started brushing his belly hair with it. And then he put it down. It's like, "I'm Chris," or something. And then I think he left right after that. He just walked out. Like, dude walked in.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't have much else to say.
Yeah.
It was just
I'm Chris.
a raid.
Nice to meet you. And then I'm out. So, yeah. So naturally a friendship evolved out of that. He was rooming with Landrum at the time. You were on the 11th floor, or were you on the 9th floor?
I was on the 11th floor. And I believe when I walked in, you were performing some kind of toe surgery on yourself.
Oh, yeah. Ingrown toenail. Yeah. Yeah, toe surgery.
I didn't know if that was the gout.
No, that's the more recent with age. Yeah. So then, after that, spent a lot of time together in college hanging out, and then we worked at the same place.
Yes.
And
managed the same fleet.
Yeah. So this is a pretty funny story too. We both got out of school. In Broughton, you're in political science with a dream to go to law school, which you executed that, but there was a little bit of a pause in between school, undergrad, and then going to law school. We ended up rooming together. We were looking for jobs at the same time. Mine, I was trying to find a career, and he was just trying to get some money to save up before law school. Went and applied for the same job. They were hiring a bunch of people at Johnson Controls, and we had both graduated from the same university, both worked at the same place while we were at college, which was a home medical place, delivery company. And the only difference on our resumes, like we filled them out at the same time, like, literally stood in the same place. And we was describing some of the duties of your previous job. Well, we had a delivery van, and one of our, we had to get the oil changed and wash it and do whatever else. And so Broughton described that he managed the company fleet. Like, he was a fleet manager, and I didn't even bring up that we had to do anything with the van. I got a call and he didn't. Like, that was the only difference on our resumes.
Yeah. And I had the higher GPA too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you did. Yeah. That wasn't hard to do, but, yeah, it was kind of funny. So we ended up rooming together in 8G, and we had, it was a pretty awesome time. right before I got married. It was my last moment as a bachelor, and it was not a clean apartment or anything like that.
I think the last moment was when y'all raced at your bachelor party. I got to witness that.
Yeah.
Who won that race, Troy?
That specific one, you won that one.
That's right.
Ah, that's right.
I think I remember him leaving you in his dust.
So no, it wasn't that. There was a photo finish, but
There was.
he did. Thanks for bringing that up, Troy.
You're welcome.
He did like catch a gear, like right towards the right towards the end, and while he was passing me, he said, "See you, Sears." And my brother-in-law Joel has it on video. It's out there somewhere.
Oh, we're gonna see if
But
we can get that, put that on the YouTubes and the Rumble.
so it's funny you bring that up. So the next year, to the day, Broughton, I think you were at our house on Tibbs.
It was a rematch.
Yep.
We raced again. No, that year it was in a hotel parking lot somewhere. And then like for the next decade, we had competitions on the anniversary of that, of which I think the first 2 years you won. And then after that, and I'll be honest with you, after about 4 years, we went from running to like paper, rock, scissors or something like that. But
So that's when you started
the,
putting some notches on your side.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Came back.
No, I did. Now, just listening, I did find the fatal flaw in the application process there.
Yeah.
Because apparently you two should have shown up like stepbrothers wearing the tuxedos. We're here to F stuff up.
Yep. That's probably what would have happened if we would have both got hired. That's probably what would have happened.
You might not have worked there as long as you did.
No.
I wouldn't have made it through those early shifts you were rocking. No way.
Yeah. But anyway, so the funny story about all this is my wife actually knew beef before I did. You guys worked together at a grocery store in Shreveport, right?
That's right. At Brookshire's.
Yeah. So
I remember that.
yeah. So there's always been a welcoming environment in our home for Broughton because my wife, I think she likes him more than I do. So man, you're a practicing attorney in Louisiana now.
That's right.
What advice do you have for us? So he's also my personal attorney. I have him on retainer.
Because
you get
still
sued
waiting
a
on
lot.
that check to come in the mail.
It is in the mail. Believe me, it's just it's taking longer to get there than a bottle of Admiral's Bennett beard oil.
Hey, that takes a long time.
So we Broughton's legendary from our college days. And one of the stories I always have a fun time talking about, he lived with two other guys at 1716. What was that? Vienna?
North Trenton
Street in Ruston, Louisiana, 1716. I don't even know if that building's still there. That house is still there. But
it is.
You and Matt and Schaffner, dude, I'm telling you, this house was legendary. Number one, I just thought about the whole mouse incident. Which you get a pretty big kick out of this. They got, you guys didn't know the properties of gasoline, but they had a mouse problem. And like one day they poured gas down this crack in the brick on the fireplace to try to burn the mice out. But then the vapors kind of got all throughout the house. So when they lit it, like there was this explosion inside the house they were renting. And then... Which was bad.
That's a little overstatement, but there was some vapors ignited.
And then, so I come over one day, and there was like a hallway back to where the bedrooms were, and there was an ironing board with a blanket like draped over the ironing board, and then a 22 laying on top of the blanket. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Well, whoever gets up first belly crawls from the bedrooms under the cover of the towel or the blanket that nobody can see from the kitchen because the mice have been getting up on the countertop in the kitchen. So whoever gets up first belly crawls up there and then eases up and gets on the 22 and shoots at whatever mice are in the kitchen with rat shot." So that was pretty funny. And then I think when you guys were burning stuff, didn't you set a recliner on fire?
I don't know if I set it on fire, but I was there. And when the fire department asked me why we did it, I said, well, we were just taking a study break. And the fireman just walked off without a word.
Is there a young Chris Broughton sitcom show coming out soon? Because I think there's a lot of good material here.
It's hilarious.
You know, you have your young Chris Rock, or not Chris. Or yeah, there was a young Chris Rock. There's a young The Rock show about to come out, and there's young Sheldon. I think we need a young Broughton show out there.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
You're the expert camera guy.
Let's do it.
Happen.
Yeah, I think we'd have some complaints though from his dark past. Hey, Matt wanted to ask you about you buying your own lease.
Buying my own what?
Your lease.
Your own lease. So,
the deer lease?
Yeah. So, I'd like you to tell that story just the exact way that you told it on the phone when we were driving up to Montana. So what happened this year?
He's not allowed to tell anybody about it. That was the whole point.
I thought he was.
I don't know, because
all I know is the funniest thing that I've heard this year is I'm driving up and we're going to hunt some buffalo here not too long ago, and he's talking to you on.
We use the term hunt loosely in this. It's interpreted very
Dude,
loosely.
if you can hunt antler sheds, then you can go shoot a buffalo. It's called hunting.
Okay.
No. This is go shoot a buffalo. There's no hunt involved. It's just a different way of grocery shopping. But we're driving up, and he's talking to Broughton on the phone, and he was talking about this deer season or whatever, and we get to this point and he just says, if I win the lottery, I'm getting my own deer lease, and I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard, because if I won the lottery, I'm on my own property and there's no lease involved. But the first thing he's going to do is he's going to get his own dang deer lease.
Because I figured there'd be shenanigans, like, Broughton in an environment with rules and other people.
I think that was a product of my brother getting mad at me for violating his stringent deer lease rules.
Yeah. So Broughton is on the side of, I'm going to shoot whatever walks out in front of me. Matt, you're on the side of, the deer has to be 7.5 years old, and I have to have 150 pictures of it on game camera.
Now, but the difference there is that I have my own property where I am the king. It is mine, and I dictate what goes on.
Yeah.
If I was part of a lease and everybody had agreed to a certain standard, then hey, let's shoot whatever, because I'm not against shooting anything.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, if I'm raising them, I want them to be big.
That was
that's my brother, and it's not that I don't anyway, he gets mad if I accidentally break a rule.
Accidentally?
That's probably what begat that.
More than likely, it's the same rule that Troy broke on Matt's land with an antlerless, thought to be antlerless deer.
With a set of nuts.
Accidentally. Those accidents happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. The other I got another story that on relations with elected officials that I learned a lot with from Chris. They had this is back at 1716. They had a party, a rave.
Now, is that the year?
That's the house.
The address.
I just know you're the oldest one here, so I'm just trying to.
The year was 1998.
1998. So these guys, Schofter, Landrum, and Broughton were setting up this big. They were just gonna have a big party. It was a pretty big house they were in a nice little neighborhood off of a main street there in town. And being respectful of the law, as you are an attorney or a lawyer now, you went to the police to find out, like, what are the rules on getting a party shut down, right?
Right. And we told them we're having a party. We told them if there's any problem to just let us know and we would take care of it.
And they said their policy was you get a warning, and then if there are any more, phone calls from neighbors or something like that after the warning, then you're gonna then they come back and shut it down. So you're like, we're going all out until that warning comes. Like, this is going to be the loudest party in the neighborhood or in the town until the warning comes, and then we'll start reining everything back in. Then what happened?
Well, apparently the fraternities in town or somebody was so rowdy that night that they implemented a no warning policy and executed it on us first. So we didn't get a warning. We just got a shutdown. And I became enraged.
He was upset and found a phone book and then proceeded to talk to the mayor.
I called the mayor at home.
I don't know, 11:30. I mean, I don't know what time it was.
Late at night, and I let her know I was displeased with the local government. And that was before Ron Swanson.
Yeah. The original Ron Swanson. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on today is for our top 3. Unless you guys want to hear any other stories.
I mean, we can keep going because that's pretty baller to call the mayor and just say, "Hey, look, I'm upset. You shut my party down."
She was very courteous. I mean, she was like apologetic and stuff, but that didn't change the fact that all our friends had gone home and we had, our smoke machine and our fog machine and our
lights,
all the Christmas lights that we had gotten and put out in the yard were, now shining on nothing but sadness.
he uses his hands a lot when he's upset. And so he was like on the phone. I got the mayor, and just reading her the riot act.
Well, I appreciate that party because I'm sure we were having a party at my fraternity house and y'all got shut down before us that night, I'm sure.
It was probably 3 Shot's fault.
He called him on you.
I said, go to that party where all the Christmas lights are on.
All we've got is Star Wars Legos going over here.
Like,
it's getting pretty rowdy.
We're watching episode 4.
I may have a quote or two from that movie here in a minute.
I have no doubt.
Well, sweet. The other thing, and this is kind of on the Marine front. So we were sitting there when we lived in 8G and watching the History Channel and came across a documentary on Mitchell Page, which is like my most favorite military guy ever. It happened to be a Marine fighting in the Pacific.
He's awesome.
And I think, just like jaw dropped, can't believe how awesome this dude is. So like we created a Mitchell Page wall of honor in the apartment. Like, if you do anything that's really awesome, then you can, somewhat worthy of being, in the same category as Mitchell Page. And so when we were talking about, you're like Chesty Puller this and da-da-da, I'm like, dude, my favorite Marine is Mitchell Page. And I think I knew more about him than you did, Matt.
You probably did, but I never said anything about Chesty Puller. You're going to have to remind me of that conversation because you've never asked me about my favorite Marine.
Who's your favorite Marine?
John Basilone, man.
Okay, why?
Because he's a bad mofo. Trying to keep the language appropriate for Marine speak. But no, he charged up. He actually was killed on Iwo Jima charging up the hill, and then he also was in a gunfight that he just took that machine gun and just kept mowing people down, and then went and got ammo resupplies and kept those guns up, and got like 3rd-degree burns on his arms from they couldn't get the tripod, so he picked the gun up, and just phenomenal dude, and that's why one of the longest roads on Camp Pendleton is Basilone Road. It goes all the way from one side of the base to the other.
Yeah,
just an absolute legend of a guy.
That's awesome.
And I don't remember seeing a Mitchell Page Road.
Well, that's because probably he was canceled. Because in his story that he talks about, and I've gone to look at videos and most of them been edited out, is the dude when he tells his story, when in a similar situation, he was running on a hillside, lost everybody in his unit, and held off 3 different attempts to take the hill, and he was running between 3 different machine guns. Ended up taking one off and charging down the hill, and got the attention of a couple other Marines on the other side, and they ended up saving the day. But he talked about when that was all over, he just sat back and opened up his Bible and started going through scriptures. And he read the scripture that his Bible just fell open to at that time. And it was talking about, you will be protected and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, canceled. I bet the Marines didn't like all that kind of stuff. But they had a toy company come in after hearing his story and said, we're looking at making an Army toy and we've heard your story, a military, and they're like, we wanted a model after hearing your story. We want to make a model of you to create this toy for these boys to play with. And G.I. Joe was born.
That was G.I. Joe. Yep.
Yeah. Mitchell Page. That was his face and all that kind of stuff that they called
Nice.
out.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
I played with him a lot before I knew him.
Yeah. I happen to own a commemorative Mitchell Page G.I. Joe, the big doll.
Like the
He's-
12-inch
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the Medal of Honor series, which is pretty cool.
So if we start a Mitchell Page Wall of Honor here at the office, can I go ahead and put my shotgun skills
Mm-mm.
on there?
No,
I'm better than you.
it's a fake trophy.
That's not fake.
It is.
That's real news.
You have to prove it without sandbagging.
Well, let's do it.
This comes up every episode.
Troy, why do you
you're-
have tape on your shirt, man?
So I'm wearing, for those listening, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, and I have tape over where it says Star Wars, like the logo. Just because there's been some canceling going on. I don't really appreciate it.
Right.
So
I'm not giving another dime to Lucasfilm or Disney or anything. So just the old, what I've seen is what I've seen.
They're dead. They're dead to you.
DTM, dead to me.
If you're scrolling through the channels and they're doing a Star Wars marathon on TNT, you're just gonna keep rolling by.
Well, I'm not giving them money, so I might watch something.
yeah,
But
so
I'm definitely not going to go watch anything, episode 15, the rise of the whatever. I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
You're not gonna take anybody to Disney World or anything like that. Not spending.
No. Like some people I know just
Yep.
did. Not
Yep.
going to do it.
I think somebody just went to him not too long ago,
Yeah.
giving them all his money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've never been one for boycotting, because you start boycotting one thing, you're going to boycott everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I could just name many things on a list of things that you should boycott. But
Start boycotting. Next thing you know, you start a great nation. We wouldn't want to do that.
Let's just live in the mediocrity that you've created.
I like the way you think. I like the way you think.
we just need to go sit down with coffee and donuts with the Californians that are moving all over.
I'm telling you, that's the way it works.
Well, I think we ought to hear more about that on a different episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week, maybe.
Maybe.
All right. Well, let's take a break real quick before we jump into our top 3.
All right. Troy, I
Yes.
noticed you're scratching your facial hair that you have there.
Yeah,
Looks like you need some Admiral's Pennant beard oil.
that's right.
I think you could definitely benefit from it.
Will it make my hair grow longer and not be scalp as
It will
itchy?
stop the irritation. One of the reasons it does, it has all natural oils, no substitutes,
I can get down with that.
There's nothing fake in there. It's
nothing
all real.
fake. It's real. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
It's real. The thing.
For real.
I will grow it out.
You should, and I recommend Admiral's Pennant. 1815 is my favorite.
Where can I get some?
www.admiralspennant.com. Tell them Hardheaded sent you.
I will do that.
Hey, you also get a handwritten note
From the owner,
from the owner.
Matt Amos.
In every
He
single
cares
package.
about everyone who buys his products. And we're back.
We are back. Today, for the top 3, we are going to talk about our top 3 movie quotes. And I think we all 3 or 4 have a different take on this.
Oh yeah.
So, Matt, would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah,
Give us your take.
Explain your take. Because really, the hardest part about this whole thing was like, how do you
get
narrow it down to three?
Of the thousands of movies that I've watched,
right?
it's hard to narrow it down to 3.
Yeah.
But I chose 3 based on the ones that I didn't have to go and look for. The ones that I just knew right off the top of my head that I kind of use all the time or did use all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So they're very easy to come by. So starting off with my first one, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to let you guess and see if you get the movie right.
Okay.
All right.
So
I wasn't prepared for this.
I wasn't either.
So this first one's so easy that if you don't get it, I mean, you're shunned
Okay.
for the rest of the episode. Every man dies. Not
No,
every man really lives.
Truly lives, and it's Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Yeah. You messed it up.
No, I didn't.
It's not really, or it's truly.
It's the way that I've said it, so it's the quote.
Oh, okay. That's however you remember it.
It's how I remembered it without having to look it up, right?
Okay.
So
One of you is a great warrior. The other is not. I'm going with the warrior.
ooh, burn.
You're assuming he's talking about you.
He's talking about me.
Yeah, okay.
And then from what I hear, this next one, somebody else may also have from the same movie. But now I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. There's no normal life. There's just life. Now get on with it.
Is that Doc Holliday?
That is Doc Holliday.
From Tombstone.
From Tombstone.
Oh, man.
Chet Sears, 2 for 2.
That's at the end, right?
Yeah, when
When he's dying?
when he's dying.
Yeah. Like the saddest part of that whole movie?
Yeah, because Wyatt Earp is wanting to. He goes, I just want a normal life, and he's like, well, there is no normal life. There's just life. So get on with it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I think it can resonate a lot today. There is no normal. Just get on with it because it's not going to get any better before it gets worse.
All right.
And then number 3 for me is you can't handle the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Few Good Men.
Few good men. Who said it?
That's the Colonel Jacobs.
Jessup.
Colonel
Jessup.
Nathan R. Jessup, United States Marine Corps.
Yes, sir.
I was going to
That's
say
him.
Jack Nicholson.
Well, no, we want the character. Because I've probably had to cancel Jack Nicholson.
Now when you
But I'm not canceling his characters.
There you go.
when you use that, do you yell it? You can't handle the truth.
I think you have to.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're talking about shotgunning and me beating you and you don't want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
So, well, anyway, never mind. I'm thinking about something else.
Yeah,
that
you are.
I'm finding the right time to bring it up, and now's not the time.
All right. Beef, you want to jump in here with your top 3?
Okay. Well, all right.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Dazed and Confused.
Love them
I didn't say
redheads.
that was one. I just happened to say some words.
Oh, okay.
He's just ready. He's all right.
Hey,
All
you're
right.
gonna, You're going to lace the conversation with all kinds of
Yeah.
quotes. Keep us guessing.
This was a hard top 3 because, like Matt said, movie quotes are so ubiquitous and they're situational. One can't be just great, greater than the others. If you're flying jets, Top Gun quotes might be the best. If you're, fighting an insurgency, maybe some Red Dawn quotes. But I did, I did come up with 3 quotes that I wanted to, that I'm going to use. And they're not necessarily the top 3, but like Matt said, but they're just 3. And now first I gotta talk about a technicality here. I've heard from past podcasts. For one, I know this is a sensitive topic, that Lonesome Dove is frowned upon by some people.
He holds it in high regard, but he will never watch it again.
Yeah.
There's,
No,
I think there's just coincidences. I don't think it's cursed, but also I know that it was used in a TV show context the last time it was mentioned, but I've always viewed it as a movie. I know it was a miniseries, but you buy it on DVD, you watch the whole thing. It's 6 hours long. I viewed it as a long movie, but so I'm considering it a movie because it's my favorite all-time film, whether it's a movie, TV series, and so I'm using it. So
Yeah,
it's a mini
calling
series.
it. I'm a guest.
At the same time, if you had to talk about TV shows, you'd probably find a way to put that in there.
I probably wouldn't. I would respect my own rules.
Just nobody else's
Lonesome
rules.
Dove has a lot.
So it's not a deer race.
And some of them are, it's just a million. But, one of the ones that I like is Gus says throughout the film, he says, the older the violin, the sweeter the music.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is all, people kind of poke fun at him or whatever for being old, and he lets them know that the older the violin, the sweeter the music. And as I get older, I'm starting to cling to stuff like that.
Hey, are you playing sweeter music?
Yeah, I'm hoping because this violin's getting old and raggedy. So it doesn't run around dorm shirtless anymore.
That belly hair is getting longer.
Yeah. There's a lot more acreage for that belly to grow hair.
I can get you a brush.
And some beard oil for that hair.
We can make it shine real good.
Another one, I looked at Tombstone. I think Tombstone's one of the most quotable modern movies that we have. Everybody's most famous one is I'm Your Huckleberry. Everybody says it. But I'm not going to use that one.
I almost put it on my list.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I didn't use that one.
That's a basic.
I'm actually going to use Ike's quote where he's in the bar and Ike says at one point in the bar, he says, I hope you die. And I know that seems very dark, but me and I had a good friend in law school who was a big Tombstone fan, and we would play poker together and quote Tombstone to each other, and we would constantly tell each other we hope that the other one died. And it just, it was out of love.
Yeah.
But,
well, and it's funny how, the scene, he was upset about something and he just fired it off like rapid fire. Somebody said something, I hope you die.
Yeah, he was mad because Holiday had been aggravating him and beating him at cards or something like that.
Yep.
And then he fell over coughing. Right?
Yeah, I can't exactly remember.
I think he had one of his coughing.
As he's walking out of the bar, he goes, I hope you die.
Yeah.
Right before that, somebody says, what's wrong with him? Talking about Holiday. What's wrong with him? And somebody else goes, longer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so,
well, yeah, you're right. As far as movies go, it's hard to top that one with the quantity of quotes you can use in everyday life.
And honestly, all the time I say, well, bye.
Well,
maybe I should have used that.
Bye.
I like
that bill.
Hell's coming with me.
I like say when.
Say when.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, anything Doc Holliday says, and I don't know why I chose that Ike one because it has, I used to say it all the time playing poker, but anything Doc Holliday says in that movie is awesome.
Well, what's kind of,
and then I think
I will say that here at the office, we've got another guy that works here named Brandon, and we start our day. We have to say we have to have a positive greeting the first time we see each other during the day. And then it goes downhill from there for the rest of the day to where when we leave, it's like, well, I hope you get in a car wreck on the way home. It's like, well, I hope you die. So,
yeah.
but it's meant, it's meant in a kind way, right? It's like, it's friendly. It's like, I really don't hope he dies, but
yeah, but I'm going to tell him that.
But anyway. I'm going to tell him that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause he knows I love him.
And actually, there's another lawyer who I used to play cards with, and we still say that. I've said it recently to him. So, and then finally, I chose this one because I've said it before, and it's awesome, and it's out of Red Dawn, and I needed to include Red Dawn. Red Dawn is not now. Don't ask me which. If anybody's about to say which one, just put your mic down, your headphones down, and get out of the podcast.
That's awesome.
There is only.
Somebody's about to say the remake.
No.
So there are two. So I just want to clarify.
Not two. Put your mic down. Put your mic down. Get out. Our guest said, "Get out."
I'll cancel myself.
After they capture the Russian, after Daryl swallowed the bug because he went into town, went and got caught. That's what Jed says. They're about to shoot him. He's about to get a TRB TTG, which, what is that, Chet?
That's a 3-round burst to the gut.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, that's how he kills him. He's it wasn't Jeff that shot him. It was Robert.
Robert shot Daryl.
Yeah.
Jed shot the Russian.
Yep.
Whose name, it turns out, was Stefan Gorski. And he's the one that's like, go die, Yankee, and all this stuff. But Jed, right before he's about to kill him, he goes, you want blindfolds? And Gorski goes, this is violation of the Geneva Convention. And Jed says, I never heard of it. And I love that. I never heard of it. That's my number 3. I never heard of it.
Yeah.
And there's a million others. I wanted to go into Major League, Top Gun, Clubber Lang, Prediction Paint. I don't know. I know I'm ruining people's stuff, but
no, you're not ruining any of mine.
You're definitely not ruining any of Troy's. Because those are movies that people normally watch, and I'm pretty sure that Troy's got some stuff that nobody's ever heard of.
Another honorable mention from Red Dawn is I ain't gonna use no leaves.
Yeah. If you have to go to the bathroom. Okay.
I ain't gonna use no leaves.
Yeah. I think the best Red Dawn quote ever used in my life was Broughton and I were going backpacking. And this is after Ashley and I were married, but we were staying in those Spring Hill apartments. Mm-hmm. And a buddy of ours, a mutual friend that Medley, he was staying. He got married, and he was in the apartments like on the second floor on a building across the parking lot. And so Broughton and I are kitting up in the parking lot, about to drive up to northern Arkansas, and Medley's like, "Hey, where y'all going?" Like, "Oh, we're going." He's yelling out of his window, "Oh, we're going backpacking." "Oh, when you coming back?" At that very moment, there was a jet flying right over the parking lot, and Broughton at that moment says, "Well, we don't hear that anymore," which was a Red Dawn quote. Like, when can we go back? When are things? And there's a jet flying by, and the colonel pilot. He's like, "Well, when you don't hear that anymore," when things. So it just flawlessly came out, perfect timing. The airplane flying by. That's when we're coming back from our camping trip. When you don't hear that anymore. Yeah, that was well executed.
I can appreciate those.
Always down for a movie quote.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, can I go?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, honorable mention, and this is the only one. And so what I did to narrow everything down was like ones that I use all the time, and normally get a really good chuckle. Like these are in my everyday life that come out. But one that is not, but I think is pretty awesome. Name the movie. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The Blues Brothers.
That's a nice one.
That's a good one.
I've seen that movie once.
That's a great film.
You've got problems.
You need to watch it again.
I'll take 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
Yes. Did you give me my cheese whiz, boy? That's full of good ones too. But the first time I ever saw that movie, it was on TV, and so like later, I think I can't remember who it was. Maybe even my mom rented it. Did not know how much they had edited it out of that for TV. Found out. All right, so in no particular order, anytime I get on a radio, like two-way. Covey Leader to Raven. Talk to me, Johnny. What's that from?
First Blood.
Yes. You gave me a poker face, which means I don't think you knew, Matt. And Troy, you gave a look of confusion.
I was thinking about it, but no, I wouldn't have come up with that one.
Covey Leader to Raven. You don't remember that? That's
Covey
awesome.
Leader, calling Raven. Talk to me, Johnny.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen that.
Like at the deer camp, every now and then we'll break out the radios. And heck, even Tim, he'll text Covey Leader to Raven, like when he's in the deer stand. Anyway,
I considered talking about, Troutman's whole speech about Rambo,
That's a great little.
Eat things, make a billy go puke, ignore pain, ignore weather,
Yeah.
all that stuff that he describes Rambo to Teasel.
I'm gonna have to go watch that again.
Dude, that's a great movie. I don't like any of the other Rambos in comparison to that one. Like it's a head and shoulders above anything.
In town,
Have you seen it?
Out here, it's me.
Yeah.
Don't push.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
place it.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
when
been
they're
so
in the,
long since I've seen.
they've set
that
up
one.
base camp after he like holed up in the mountains and hurt some people.
Yeah.
And then Troutman shows up and they're like, hey, we need your help to try to get him back. And he gets on the radio because he knew that he stole a radio from one of the troops that they had originally sent up there. Anyway, great scene, great movie, lots of quotes. Use it
Covey
all the
Leader
time.
to identify Baker team.
And then he lists all the people on Baker team and he's like, they're all dead, sir. That's when he started talking. Dude, that's awesome. So I'll give you this. This one is hilarious. And I may have used it on you or not. If you're ever in a situation where there's a group of people that you are in a parking lot or you're in a car and there's a group of people that you know, typically when you're leaving, roll down your window and yell, Bonzai!
And they will yell back.
Yes. Bonzai! It's hilarious because
Yeah.
the whole scene in Karate Kid, they yell it back and forth. So normally you'll get like 3 good bonsais out of a group of people while you're driving away.
That's good. I like it.
I used to yell that a lot
Yeah,
back in the day,
yeah.
but there was typically alcoholic beverages involved in cops, and I'm diving over bushes to get out of being caught.
That's like Geronimo. That's not
but
bonsai.
I would yell Bonzai.
Yeah.
We got this kid. He's behind the tree yelling bonsai again.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, it's hilarious. Do it. Roll your window down, and people should get even now that Cobra Kai's out. Maybe people have gone back and watched that movie, but it's really good. And then the one I think I use the most.
What is this, number 5?
No, this is number 3. I gave an honorable mention, which
Like
doesn't count.
2 or 3 of them.
No.
Go ahead.
I'll
I'll allow it, I guess.
It's like,
I'll allow it.
so, and my kids use this one a lot too. It's one of our favorite movies to watch together. Is hey you,
Look at her.
look up here, look up here. Woo.
3 Amigos.
Yes,
Yep.
that scene.
You remember that one?
Never seen it.
Oh,
Whoa. Look up there.
Nope, never seen it.
it's hilarious.
It's on your
Anyway.
list. Needs to be number 1 on your list.
Hey, hey, you two.
Look up here.
I take
Tell
that
us we
back.
will die like dogs.
I've probably seen it once.
I've got it on DVD.
I've got
Time out.
Prime. I've got Netflix.
I've got it. Look, you need to sit down with your girls and watch this thing. They'll love it. You'll love it.
It's hilarious.
I'll report back. I'm always down to watch stuff with the kids. So
Yeah.
Shot the invisible swordsman.
Well, stop giving the best parts of the movie away because I feel like those are like the 2 best lines.
There's
No.
like a million lines in that movie. I'm surprised I didn't think of that one.
It's a great movie. Anyway,
The mail plane. It's a mail plane.
how do you know the little balls?
Lips
So
would be
good.
fun.
Yeah.
So good.
Plethora.
A plethora.
So what do we got now? Are you done?
Sweater.
Is that your number 1?
Yeah, we're good. I'm sorry.
So now what's Troy got from like The Notebook or some other?
That would be my wife's number 1 movie quote. Get in the
I
water.
just can't quit you.
From The Notebook. That's good, bro. Because she says, get in the water all the time. For the kids to go get in the bath, she uses that movie quote line.
Get in the water. Never seen it.
All right, so my honorable mention is where does he get those wonderful toys?
Batman.
That's
Who says it?
Joker.
From Batman. The original Michael Keaton one.
Yes.
I saw that movie in the theater and was blown away. Batman became my favorite superhero, and Joker my favorite villain to this day.
I'm still a Superman Lex Luthor as my number 1.
Yeah.
But that movie was awesome. It was when we eventually upgraded to VHS because we didn't have anything before that. We had black and white TV, and then we got a little Sylvania, I think, color TV,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got a VCR to go with it.
Boom.
I don't know how many times I watched Batman. I could probably quote you the movie from start to finish.
Yeah. And it had a great soundtrack with Prince.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was a super good movie, especially when he pulls out that long pistol that just keeps coming out and shoots down the Batwing.
Yes. And then, so that was my honorable mention. So I
So
did have
now
4.
to the top 3.
Now to the top 3. Number
Hey,
3.
It's totally cool that you had an honorable
Okay,
mention.
thank
I
you.
support you
Thank
with
you.
that.
Is it because I could have had like 50 honorable mentions?
I could have had
It's
top
not
10.
cool for you to
but-
have an honorable mention, Matt.
That's fine.
So number 3, and I say this a lot because it's just hilarious. Make like a tree
And leave.
and
get
get out
the-
of here.
Yeah.
It's make like a tree and leave, Biff.
Yeah. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Seen it?
I have seen it. I've seen all of them. However, I was going back to Boondock Saints,
Ah,
the bartender. So I was kind of confused because it was make like a tree and get the out.
yeah.
So I was going to Boondock Saints on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it PG.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make like a tree and get out of here. All right, number 2. Inconceivable.
Yeah. The Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
That is correct. And he says it in that movie
A bunch.
50 times.
many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 characters, they play off of it and make fun of him. It's just, it's good stuff, good comedy. And then, so number 1 is from my crossed out shirt here, my canceled shirt. But it's, I had to look at my notes. I couldn't remember which one I had because there's so many from the Star Wars franchise. But this one is, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yes.
And it is said in every movie release, and it's said in some of the cartoons and stuff that they've come out afterwards. Yeah, and it's said in episode 8, but it's said by BB-8, which is kind of stupid. So no human actually says it in that movie.
I can't understand what BB-8 says.
Right.
Do you speak BB-8?
And we could go into how Rian Johnson like totally ruined the sequels with that movie, but we're not going to go into that today. But
yeah.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Was first said by Han Solo.
I guarantee you
in
he didn't
episode
really
4.
say it, but like people that really love Star Wars, which he probably isn't one of those people who's
Right.
just trying to make money.
Exactly.
They're like, where is it? Oh, he's like,
Oh, BB-8 said it. Oh,
says
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They even use it in their in the rides in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Like they use, I've got a bad feeling about this in a couple of their rides.
I mean, it's a staple. You have,
Yeah.
good stuff. So those are my top 3 and 4. Top 4.
Well, I guess I have homework to do because there's a couple of movies that I've never seen, and there's one that I just will never watch.
What movie?
Well, Three Amigos. You have to go see
Three Amigos. I don't think I've seen.
What's Braveheart, Tombstone, A Few Good Men, Red Dawn, Lonesome Dove, Back to the Future. Yeah.
First Blood.
Well,
Got to refresh on that one.
I got to
Yeah.
refresh on First Blood, but Three Amigos. I don't think that I've ever watched that all the way through. So that'll be one that I've watched, and then I have no idea where your Star Wars quote came from because I've never seen any of the franchise.
Just watch episode 4,
No thanks.
5, and 6.
No. No.
Yeah. Do
Don't spend any money doing it.
it. Do it.
I can't
Do
now
it.
because I'm on Broughton's page. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give my money.
Well, I just quoted. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
What's that from? Starsky and Hutch.
Do it.
Yeah.
That's good. Is that where they're? It's in the computer. Is that the?
Is that Zoolander?
That's Zoolander. Same actors. It's in the computer. Oh, that's good
Dude,
stuff.
as many movies as you watch, like you watch more movies than anybody I know.
Yeah.
You know Star Wars.
No Star Wars. I'm not, and if we're going to start doing, if we talk about movies or anything like that, sci-fi movies just are not my, I don't like them. I'm not a sci-fi guy.
Got problems.
I just can't watch them. It's not believable,
What?
I don't know.
It's just crazy.
Sci-fi movies don't have
I
good
agree.
quotes.
Yeah. Well, except for Star Wars, they got great quotes.
The best Star Wars quote ever is when Leia says, "I love you," and Han says, "I know."
I know. And then she turns around and says it to him later on. It's good stuff.
You gonna give us a scene?
Do you know who Han Solo is?
Yeah, I know who the characters are, somewhat.
Because you read the scripts.
Because he doesn't live under a rock.
I mean, like I know Chewbacca, right?
The Wookiee?
Yeah.
Hey, he does that on opening night of every one of the releases.
No, I don't. Ben Jennings does.
Oh. Well, you did it before you moved to Kansas.
No.
No?
No.
I thought that was you.
No, that's a Ben Jennings thing.
Oh. He's
like,
cooler than you.
So
I guess so.
On your shirt, I see Leia, Darth Vader, Han Solo. I don't know who that other guy is.
This guy, he's Luke Skywalker. That's the main guy.
Oh, is that the main guy? And then
Obi-Wan
and
and the droids.
Yeah. What are their names? R2D2 and what?
C-3PO. And the whole
C-3PO.
galaxy and all the original 6 movies
This podcast is getting lame.
centered around them.
I would agree. I mean, that's why I don't watch the movies.
I just heard all the people turn it off.
Let's just cancel Star Wars right now and move on to a good word.
Star Wars is canceled. So good word. I'm keeping in line with the movie quotes. And I'm going with one from Creed 2.
I haven't seen the Creeds yet.
But it's a Rocky Balboa quote. And it says, every champion was once a contender that refused to give up. And most recently, while this isn't a huge life-altering lesson where, you know, I rose to greatness through perseverance, but I recently experienced a loss. And it was to a 14-year-old girl playing Speed, the card game.
Have you guys ever heard of Speed?
Oh, yeah. I've played it.
Broughton?
I feel the need for speed.
So anyway, so it's this card game where you basically try to lay your cards down and you can go one number up or one number down, and you just you're
and the fastest one to it.
The fastest one to it wins. And you have to slap the card and say speed when you've won.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that little technicality in the rules. And when we played up in Montana, she technically didn't win because she didn't slap the deck and say speed. And so I brought this to her attention, and she was extremely upset. And so I told her I was going to prepare, and I was going to come in. I was going to be the champion. So I was going to practice. I was going to put all my effort into winning, and I still lost, although by less of a margin than I had the previous 3 times that we played.
I got my tail whooped by her, and technicality or not, I knew that she was better than me. So I didn't tell her, technically, you didn't win, because with or without the technicality, she's still better than me.
But it gave me a chance to practice to get better, but I still lost. But anyway,
Yeah.
So
Wait. How big is your second place trophy going to be that you buy yourself?
I told her it's going to be the biggest, the greatest. She hasn't seen anything like it. I put all the Trumpisms out there that it's going to be the most fantastic thing she's ever seen.
Best trophy ever.
But so anyway, I did say that I would say that Madison, as of right now, is the reigning champion for Speed.
I think she will always be the reigning champion.
I don't know about that.
She is
I was getting
good.
I was getting better, but we played 2 out of 3 games, and she beat me 2 times out of 3 games.
I didn't even get close.
It wasn't even a 2-1. It was a straight loss. But anyway, so but I think that quote still rings true. Nobody just started out a champion. They had to work to get there, and I'm going to continue to work to beat a 14-year-old girl at Speed. That's my goal. I tried to get my kids to practice with me, but that didn't happen with figure skating and soccer practice and all of that.
Bring a deck of cards to the office and I'll beat you.
You know you won't. You're
Game on.
I mean, you have apparently a lower IQ, or at least a GPA, from what I hear.
Then Broughton.
And I know that he can beat you, and I know that I can beat you.
Quantify
because
lower than Broughton.
I feel like we're similar. Like he and I are on the same wavelength, and if that's the case, then I'm smarter than you. 100%.
No.
There's a trophy coming.
There's a trophy coming. Yeah, there's a few things. You guys are pretty similar that you like to bust my chops, both of you.
I do like that.
I'll tell you this: for the top 3 movie quotes, I remember there in Weird Science there was the jerk brother was named Chet. I
Yes.
almost just like Googled the script and looked for the 3 like most offensive sentences with the word Chet in it.
Remember what they
Yeah.
turned him into at the end of that movie?
Yeah. So I was sure there were some anti-Chet statements, but I was like, nah.
There's also The Great Outdoors, John Candy.
Oh, The Great Outdoors. Yeah.
He was Chet. So Dan Aykroyd says Chet a lot in that movie, which is kind of funny.
Chet. Kind of says it like that with that northern accent.
It's a Chicago accent that he
There's
does.
probably some quotes in that movie.
We sell car parts for the American man. You know, Tommy Boy. He was
Oh
Zelensky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a little wind in here.
I can't believe I didn't think of Tommy Boy for some quotes. That's a good one. Steve
You can
Slinsky.
get a good look at a steak.
By sticking your head up a butcher's. Wait, what?
You can get a good look at the butcher by sticking your head up
That's too
Yeah,
good.
that's a great movie.
All right. Who had the best list of top 3s?
I don't think you can quantify a best list because there are so many movies.
No, but I'm saying, I think,
All but I guess I think I did the best. Chet Sears.
of all the things that were said, I think people are going to take away Bonzai and start doing that. So maybe some lives were changed today.
It could happen.
Just don't do it when you're drinking, trying to get away from
Cops.
cops.
That's right.
Bonzai. I think we need to wrap this thing up. Hey, Christopher Broughton, thank you for joining us on our podcast. Thank you for not telling too many bad stories about me.
You're welcome.
But
I'll expect an honorarium.
I probably know just as many bad stories about you. So I think we're good. So thanks for being here. And I think Troy is the one that's supposed to be taking us out.
Let's do it.
Are you sure?
Yep.
As you can tell, we're so professional.
That's right. We are practical and realistic here on Hardheaded. So thanks for listening. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please give us a review. If you're watching us, please subscribe and like and share it with all your fellow podcast
We'd
listeners.
also like to know your top 3 movie quotes. That would be a lot of fun to hear and tell us what we missed.
Yeah, join the conversation.
Hashtag.
See you next time.